there one more note? Hi, our Seaside Band. Hey, guys. Sounding good as always. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, hello. Hi, come on in from the family room. Take a seat. We're getting ready to start here. Grateful that you're here with us today. Grateful that you found your way to Seaside. And let's see, all that I want to say this morning is classes, classes, classes. It's that time. It's, what are we, fall classes. When school gets back in session, so do we here at Seaside. We have just 2 fall classes that we're offering, one in person and one on Zoom. Dr. Christian's Foundations class started last Tuesday night, but it's still available to join. You can join up to the second week, which is this Tuesday. So let Dr. Christian know today if you're planning on taking the class, or go online and just go ahead and register. We'll have your workbook for you. We'll have everything for you. It's okay that you missed the first week. Don't worry about it. It's the prerequisite for all the other classes. So you want to take Foundations and you want to take it with Dr. Christian because he wrote the class that the whole movement uses. So it's pretty good to take it with him. Or you can take it Monday night starting tomorrow night on Zoom. I'm going to be teaching The Journey of the Soul, which is a brand new class out of home office. This is the first time we've taught it, and that is 6 nights on Zoom, and starting tomorrow night. So again, you can register online, and you'll get the workbook. I'm sending out the workbooks this afternoon. So there you go, classes, classes, classes. What I'd like to ask you to do now is just please stand for our congregational song.
Response. All right, here we go. When the walls come tumbling down, I choose joy. Say, I choose joy. When the world stops spinning around, I choose joy. When my heart won't seem to move, when my music's lost its groove, when I have too much to prove, I choose joy. When hate is all I see, I choose joy. When fear won't say joy, 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 joy. I choose joy. You say. Very nice. Come on, Bob. Oh, yeah. That's Bob on the sax. Come on, Max, play that piano. Give it up for Max and our very own Seaside Band. In this moment right here, I choose joy. For the ones that I hold dear, I choose joy. To be who I must be, for the light to shine in me, for everyone to be free, I choose joy. Here we go, and then we say joy, 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 joy. I choose joy. Come on. Very nice. One more time. Joy, 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 joy. I choose joy. You say. Very nice.
Nice choice there, Miss Rebecca. And good morning, Seaside. What a joy it is to be with you here and to be with you there at home, and to know this message of joy and love and light is just going out to the world.
Love it.
Hey, I heard you've got a gig at that new venue downtown. What's
Yeah,
that?
has anybody been to the brand new Rady Shell down in Embarcadero?
Yeah.
Isn't it stunning? It is amazing, amazing, and I get to be there tonight, and I'm
Really?
so excited.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like spectacular, huh?
It's spectacular. It doesn't look like it, but the essence of it and the the vibe there reminds me of the symphony, Sydney Opera House.
Woo!
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like it, but it has that
San Diego.
magnitude, and we have that right here in our very own hometown. It's brand new this year. I think it opened in July. Please support it. It's gorgeous.
Nice,
gorgeous
nice.
place. So.
But if they don't want to support it, it's like public land.
It is public land. That's true too. So even if we had rehearsals on Thursday night and people came in, they're not ticketing, and they came and saw the whole show, and they were just able to. So you can go even if if you don't want to catch. You can't get tickets or whatever for the show.
If they don't want to pay for Rebecca, they got.
Or whoever's there.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
But they were there. People were in there cheering and stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
that's
really
good.
beautiful
Good.
venue.
Hey, well, I'm cheering about who we got praying us in today.
Yes,
we have got
indeed.
the wonderful Valerie Carlson and just a fellow Scandinavian, and just heads up our co-heads up our wellness ministry with Dr. Christina. So anybody wants to know more about our wellness ministry here at Seaside, talk to Valerie after the service. So, but take us to that deeper place.
Thank you. First, I'm going to light the candle representing the light of Spirit here with us now. And as I chime the gong, I invite you to join me in the stillness. As I feel the vibration emanating forth in, through, and as this place, in this time, I know, sense, and feel the presence of Spirit. The divine consciousness, infinite source, supreme intelligence, that which is both creator and creation, is here and now. I call this joyful, intelligent, harmonious presence God, and I feel, sense, and know the presence in this place, in this time, and it's here through, in, and as me, and as each one here. I know that God is all. It is infinite, it is eternal, it is the joyous, harmonious expression of life. And there is only one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is my life now. Infinite and eternal and never ending, it's continuous. I know, sense, and feel this presence in, through, and as me, and each one here. From the innermost realm of the quantum, deep within. Continuous, harmonious, loving, intelligent, and generous, all the way out through the farthest reaches of the cosmos, above and below, all is God and all is good. And I know that any sense of separation limits boundaries, this distinction of one thing ending and another beginning. These are only constructs of the human mind. Misperceptions, and the divine truth is oneness. And I know that this coming together here today is blessed by this presence, as it expresses in, through, and as the word of Reverend Dr. Christian through our singers and musicians as they give voice to this divine voice, this one truth, for we are all one.
All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. God is good, and so it is.
Beautiful, Rebecca. So beautiful. It's just so peaceful. All is well and I am grateful. All is well and I am grateful. It's just so centering, isn't it? It's just so, I'm going to produce her CD. I've been bugging her to create a spiritual CD, a CD with all of the spiritual, like you and your mom could do some of the old classic hymns. I mean, it could be great. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't you like to listen to that? Yes. We don't buy it. There you go. God is good. All is well, and I'm grateful. Thank you, Valerie, for anchoring us so beautifully in that consciousness of love and harmony. It's so good to know. Welcome to all of you. Welcome. I'm so grateful that you chose to be here today with us, that you call Seaside your spiritual home, that you're part of our Seaside family. Each one of you is so very important to us. Please know that you're loved. If there's anything throughout the week, anything that you need some support on, we're here for you. Dr. Christian and I are in the office. Call for prayer. Call one of our practitioners. Our practitioners are available after service today, either on Zoom. For those of you that are online, you can go to the Zoom prayer room after service. Those of you that are here, we have Valerie, and I see some of our other practitioners are here. Don't leave with anything heavy on your heart. It is our joy to pray with you and for you. If you happen to just be wandering into Seaside for the first time, if you've just found us, please know that we do have a first-time visitors package for you. It is on the table out by the double glass doors there. Pick one up, take it home with you, and read about it and see if we're a match for you. Because we'd love to count you in to our Seaside family. We have a new member Sunday coming up next month, I believe. It's in October. It might be the beginning of November. I think it's October, though. So if you're looking, to become a member here at Seaside, or what does it take to become a member, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We've got that coming up soon. So Dr. Christian's talk today is the misconception of separation. And we learn in practitioner studies, the very beginning, that all problems in our life, all things that come up that we might call problems, are because we have some belief in separation, right? That there is truly no separation. We are spirit made manifest, each one of us. I'm going to read today from The Magic of the Soul, Applying Spiritual Power to Daily Living. This is the book that I'll be using for the Journey of the Soul class. It's the book that is for the class, The Journey of the Soul. And so those of you that have signed up, online or in person, this is the book you want to get. I hear Amazon sold out, but one of the girls found it on books, ABE books. So go ahead and order that and read along. I'm going to send out workbooks today. So if you haven't signed up, it is on Zoom, 6 Monday nights starting tomorrow. Those of you on our online audience, it's your opportunity to be part of Seaside and be in a class and get to know each other. So go on our website and sign up. Today's reading. Teachers, saints, prophets, and sages have written about and described the oneness of all life throughout time. More than ever, increasing numbers of people are bringing these ancient concepts down to the level of daily experience. When we are able to walk beyond the doorway of the personal identification, we step into a world that is alive with love, splendor, creative power, and profound interconnectedness. We can honor ourselves for our wonderful uniqueness and at the same time recognize and experience ourselves as part of a spiritual dynamic that is present in everyone and everything. The magic of the soul is a practice to help open the door and offer guidance along the path into this world of magical opportunity. The word magic implies something mystical or supernatural. This practice of which I write can indeed lead us into mystical realms, but it is important to recognize that it is a natural process. The extraordinary is only unique when it is a rare occurrence. As more and more people step into the magic of their souls through this or other spiritual practices, magical and miraculous states of being become more and more commonplace. This magic is not that of a sleight of hand artist or some macabre practice, but the magic of true spiritual alchemy. I speak of the magic that is written about by poets, spiritual teachers, and sages throughout history, who have experienced or at least enjoyed a glimpse of the power lying beneath our ordinary experiences. This is the world of interconnectedness, of oneness with all, of unconditional love, and unlimited possibilities. And so it is. God bless you. Glad that you're here today.
Great reading. Thank you so much, Rev Deb. Good morning, Seaside. It is my honor on Sunday mornings to introduce our guest artist, and she's amazing. She's been here with us a few times now, and what it's so cool about Rosie and I, we've both worked around town a lot and done lots of gigs, especially prior to COVID. Things that, are such a trip now. But yeah, so she's just a hardworking, fantastic singer. And I'm just so grateful that she is joining us yet again. And please check her out, follow her, check out her website and see what shows that she has coming up. And without further ado, help me welcome Miss Rosie Dawn.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here always. Keep my dirt on the surface so you don't gotta dig. The people that make me nervous try to hide all their sins, and I got no reason to cover my tracks. The best part of loving is just loving
And this is Rosie Dawn. Thank you, Rosie. Man, you reached with that one. What a range you had going for us. I love that. Love where you're at. I mean, that is the great answer to this morning's message I got. I should just leave them listening to you and call it good. But I got to give you a little bit more now that I've got it. But, maybe not that much more, because this morning's message is the misperception of separation. And Ernest Holmes really simplified this philosophy for us. And he's the founder of religious science, so he said that, hey, it's not a revelation to me, it's more of a compilation of that common thread through them all. And what he came to give us in a very simplistic way for healing and transformation of whatever is going on in our life is, whatever is going on in our life, there's just one real basic issue, and it is a sense of separation from God. I mean, that's it. You heal that sense of separation, then you become that clearer divine expression. It works out pretty well that way when you come to recognize and realize that God is everything. We agree with that, right? I mean, that's the starting premise. We don't agree with it, then we got an issue. But if you got that, most religions have that God is in and through all things. It is omnipresent, it is omniscient, it's that all-knowing. It is the power, it is the one, it is the only, and that is the truth of our being. And so what we want to do is heal that sense of separation. And Ernest writes in his book, The Science of Mind, that the whole purpose of the science of mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, and the material world, which appears to be imperfect. See, it's a perception. What we want to work with is correcting the misperception that says there's separation, that spirit isn't here. It's not going on. He also writes from the textbook on page 128 that if we think of ourselves as being separated from the universe, it's hard to think. Am I all that God is? We shall be limited by our thought. For it is the belief in the separation from God which binds us and limits. We are bound by nothing except our beliefs. And the Bible goes on to say that they could not enter in because of their unbelief and because they limited the Holy One. That's what keeps us from entering the kingdom of heaven. That is what keeps us from experiencing the wholeness, the joy, to live with a deep sense of peace in the midst of challenge. That is the only thing that limits us. If we truly believe that we live and move and have our being in God, did you ever hear that one? Okay, that's where it's going on. So if I'm having whatever the issue is in my life, I'm still in God. And this is what I'm experiencing, but Ernest talks about it as the subjective in the totality, in the absolute, in the objective world. And so what's going on? It's like here, if you come to Seaside and you got some issue going on in your life, in your world. Well, I want you to know this place is filled with love. You got 44 practitioners praying their heart and souls out all week long. You've got them available during service, after service, online. There is a sense here. And so there are individuals that have pain and concern and anxiety, challenges and proof from the doctors. And what's always available is love, healing, kindness, wholeness. So you follow what I'm saying here? Like there's a lot of different experiences going on in this room, in this sanctuary, but there's love that's always available. And so what I've got to do is heal that sense, that schism that keeps me from experiencing them. And as we're working with bringing a greater sense of wholeness into our life, a greater sense of joy, what we want to do is to heal the sense of separation from God. Now, granted, we take some knocks in life. I don't deny that. We get knocked down. But what we want to do is begin to turn that and use it for the purpose of greater good. It comes down to our alignment with the infinite. We want to begin to integrate it into the mosaic of our life. And yes, we have these unplanned dates with destiny that are painful and difficult and can knock us down. But it's not what happens to us that matters as much as what we do with what happens to it, with how we perceive it. And I'm here to say that we can change and recognize that the omnipresence of God is always available, and I'm not separated from it, and I can choose to step into the alignment of the presence of God. And when I take a tough knock, it can change my trajectory. When you hit the bumps and the roughs and challenges in our life, it can change our course. And I'm the one who gets to decide if that's for the better. The Spirit says, hey, here I am. You can have it for the better. You can fall forward if you want. But you got to believe that, because it is, as Ernest was saying, it is the belief that sets a limitation to that which is limitless. So as I begin to open up my mind and my awareness to the greater possibility, I become available for the greater good in my world. And sometimes I got to realize that when I get stopped, it's meant to turn around. I was driving, August, I guess that was last month, to Montana. And typically, when I go to Montana, I jump on the freeway on 15 right out here, and I get on it, and I drive, for 12 hours, and I arrive to Salt Lake City, which is about the halfway point. 10 or 12 hours there. And then I stay on 15, get north, and ta-da, I'm there. That's where I'm going. But this last time, I went through Northern California, so I had to cut across to what I was figuring was Salt Lake City, catch 15 there. So I think it's on the 80, and I'm heading east, and I'm in the Utah desert, and it's raining, and now it's pouring, and there's thunder and lightning. I don't have a clue of where I am. The off-ramps are few in between. But I got Suri. She's talking to me. And she's saying, Salt Lake City, 110 miles, Actually, I was going to a different destination right outside of Salt Lake City. And so the signs were saying, 110 miles, Salt Lake City and Surrey. And I'm good. I'm following. And then it's pitch black, and I pass an off-ramp, or I was coming to an off-ramp. She said, get off here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Surrey likes to send me off on these strange roads at night when I don't have a clue, when I don't know where I am. So I'm not listening to her. And so I pass this off-ramp. She says, turn around immediately. And I can't, So the next turnaround is 10 miles. So I'm watching my odometer, instead of counting down from 110 to 105, it's going 110, 115, 120 to whatever this waypoint is. I get to that off ramp. I'm thinking, man, I'm not going back 10 miles to this dark road I don't know. So I keep going. I kind of pull out the map, and I'm looking around Salt Lake City, and there is no road that cuts the west side of the lake. It's like a triangle. You go this corner, and you head up. And so I turn her off, and I drive for the next miles, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger, which is why I turned her off, 120, 130 to where I'm going. So it's supposed to go the other way. I turn her off. I get there finally in 2 hours, and then I still have the same amount of time to get to that waypoint. And what I found out later is she was trying to tell me I could cut off the whole way to Salt Lake City by going up the other side of it. But I didn't believe her, The shortest distance was if I would have made a U-turn. And sometimes in our life, the shortest distance to our destination is a willingness to make a U-turn and go back the 10 miles, to go back that distance and recognize that, it feels like I'm going to be separated from where I'm going. But you know what? I've got to trust the internal guidance. And when we are connected with that infinite intelligence, the omniscience, the all-knowing, it's talking. It's always available. I am never separated unless my thinking says, sorry, you're wrong. God, you're wrong. Love is not really the answer here. There's got to be another approach to this. And so as I begin to surrender, I begin to be that place where Spirit births itself into the world around us. We have been called for a time such as this to be the deliverer of the God presence, to heal the sense of separation. We are the midwives to the next dimension that is emerging in this moment. There is a new vibration that is taking the place of that which has been. There is the emergence of a greater expression of God for humanity, and we are the ones who have got to raise ourselves above what we think it's supposed to be and how we're supposed to get there, and realize there may be some tough knocks, there may be some unplanned dates with destiny that I had not planned, but I got to be willing to like soar like the eagle on the jet stream or those upper currents, and have that eagle eye that can see how all the pieces are coming together. Because they are coming together, and we are the ones who absolutely have to know that and to believe that. Thich Nhat Hanh said, when you're at peace within, then you can have real peace with other people in your world. Yeah. And so as we choose to, you've seen the sign, Savior's wanted, look within. It's as we begin to look within that we are able to know that there is a greater possibility that is seeking to emerge itself here. It's His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He said that if, get here, he said, we will never obtain peace on the outside until we make peace within ourselves. And the approach of Buddhism in coming to that place of peace is sometimes Buddhism is considered the middle way, the middle path. They believe in a reconciliation between the opposing forces that is here. And the reconciliation is about looking for a balance, looking for a middle way. It is available for those who want to know the presence of God. There is not a sense of separation. There is something that wants to seek to express itself here, and we are the ones who have to make ourselves available, because you know what? It is the integration of what is possible. But what happens is when things don't seem to be matching up with what I want, and there seems to be a schism, and there seems to be a separation, we begin to think, well, they don't know what they're talking about. It's you've got your good people, you got your bad people. You got, you're with me, you're ethical. It's like that's kind of the way that goes there. And the others are corrupt. Or sometimes there are these thoughts that are not as gracious as they can be. And all of a sudden, this kind of perspective creates a greater separation from source, from others. And there's a battle that goes on. I mean, if you want to bring people together, it's not about casting a sense of separation. You are either with us or you are contemplative. Not contemplative, that you're combative. You're not, you just got to agree with us. And you create this battlefield that is going on because there's this systemic incivility that is being passed on, which keeps troops together. It keeps groups and nations that gets passed on. But you know what? It doesn't attract those that have a different opinion. If all of a sudden that is what is the tools that are being used in trying to bring the reconciliation and the agreement together, what it's really doing is driving the opposition further away, starting to round up the wagons, if you would, and get ready for the battle and to use the same tools to get the fight, so I'm going to get what it is I'm working on. But that is not the approach that we want to go, because what happens when you go to battle, they say that truth is the first thing that is lost in war. When you got this warring sides, you've got a battle that is going for victory, not truth. And that truth is being lost. And so what must happen is that we must begin to open ourselves to hear, to understand, and to be available for the greater possibility so a bridge can be built. There were these two brothers who lived on a big farm. It's probably a big family farm. And they lived on opposite sides of the creek. And they had some small differences. And they didn't really work them out. They let them build and get bigger, and then they became nasty to one another, and they're taking sides, and they stopped talking. And one day a guy came to the door of the older brother and kind of knocked. He had his tool bag or belt or whatever he was carrying. He said, I'm just looking for some work. You got any around the farm that I could do? The older brother said, you bet. I've got an issue with my brother who lives across the creek. He's on the other side of that stream over there. And I want you to build an 8-foot fence. I never want to look at his house and his property and who he is again. And the carpenter said, I understand the situation. And so the older brother and the carpenter gathered up the materials and got things laid out. And the brother went into town. And when he came back, he saw that the carpenter hadn't built a fence, but what he actually built was a bridge. And what he saw when he got there was his younger brother walking across the bridge with his hand extended. And so the other brother walked out there and he took his brother's hand, and the little guy said, older brother, how you could have thought of building a bridge when I have said such nasty things. I cannot believe that, but my goodness, thank you. Let's make amends. See? And so the little brother said, hey, I got more projects around the place. And the carpenter threw it and said, I got other bridges to build here, And, you want to heal a separation, you've got to build bridges, and you don't build bridges by creating a bigger gap. See, it's a misperception that we're separated because we're all living and moving and having our being in this one universal presence, which we know is love. If you want to heal, you don't go for victory, you go for love, you go for healing, you go for transformation that is ever available to us. It is there And so as we begin to work on that, we begin to be that place where we are those midwives, where we are helping to birth it, where we allow ourself to be in that place where healing can happen. I was reading this interesting article the other day, and the gentleman who wrote this, his name is Charles Einstein, and a young guy who's written several books about the evolution of humanity, kind of thing. Simple reading. And so you'll see what I'm joking about as I share this article. But he writes that the biggest crisis facing humanity today, it's not vaccines or their resistors. It's not infectious disease, chronic disease, overpopulation, or nuclear weapons. It's not even climate change. The biggest crisis today is the crisis of the word. It is a crisis of agreement. It is a Babylonian crisis of communication with coherency among us, guys. No other problem is going to be hard to solve. As it stands, the prodigious powers of human creativity are canceling each other out. The crystalline matrix of our co-creation has burst into shards. Get that? It's crazy. Coherency. That's what we want. We can solve anything when we are coherent, each bringing a piece to the puzzle, and I'm willing to listen. And I want us to be clear that listening doesn't mean that I don't share my thoughts. You know, compassion, it doesn't necessarily mean compromise. It's about being available, to be able to be there, with another human being. It's about being just available. And not meaning you have to give up your spot, but what happens a lot of time is that we're not available because we're holding on to our position, which is creating a sense of separation. And the misperception here is that there is a sense of separation, but what happens is when you're holding on, our small mind is holding on or trying to control our particular known world, if you would. That all of a sudden, when things begin to be shaken, we look for scapegoats. We look for individuals to blame. I got to tell you, I've taught enough workshops in my time to realize after the first night or two, when people's lives are being shaken up, it all gets pointed towards me. It's like, I go home on that Friday night and say, I can't sleep. And they're all mad. I like to make everybody happy. But, when our world is getting shaken, what happens is we look for the scapegoats and the individuals rather than taking a look within and working on finding peace inside of ourselves. As those guys said, Thich Nhat Hanh, those guys said, you got to find peace inside yourself for real peace with others, to experience real peace in the outer world. If you want to be happy, you've got to be in integrity with that. Gandhi said, if you want happiness, happiness is when you're able to think and say and do what you believe, and they're all in harmony. The thinking, the saying, and doing are in harmony. And so we each bring our piece, and we bring different pieces. And the beauty about religious science is it honors all paths to God. There isn't any separation. So if I'm taking this path up the mountain and I'm taking this path up the mountain and it's all God, it's working. The same is true with our approach in our living and in our medicine. And I'd like to share with you something Ernest writes from his book in The Science of Mind, because people say, well, what about medicine? What about the medical world? What about the Western medical modality? What does Ernest think about that? And Ernest says, you've got a headache, by all means, take an aspirin if you think it's going to make you better. Because that is part of who we are. He writes in the book on page 320 that it doesn't make any difference whether or not the patient is taking medicine. It's not at all. If it gives them any relief, they should have it. We need all the relief we can get, and the patient is healed when they no longer need medicine. And some think that they dishonor God when they take a pill, but this is superstition. Disregard those thoughts, because healing is not accomplished through our willpower, but it's a knowing the truth. And this truth is that the spiritual individual is already perfect, no matter what the appearance may be. A sense of separation from good causes us to feel restricted, while a sense of unity with God changes the currents of causation and brings a happier condition into our experience. And everything, and then in the physical world, is an effect. And we are bound not by the limitations, but by the limited thought. And the same power which binds us will free us when we understand that there's a law, and that law is one of liberty, and that law is a power unto itself. I share that so we don't create a sense of separation. That spirit doesn't move through the medical world, and it doesn't move through this kind of perspective, but it's a willingness to bring it all to the table and to be in the dialogue and conversation and know that we're bringing the fullness. We're bringing hope, if you would. Christopher Reeves said that when there is hope, anything is possible. See, if there is a sense of limitation or sickness or a challenge, and that's the experience, that we are still within that God field and that all of us are there, and let us realize what is important is to love one another, to care about one another, and to be grateful for our journey together at this time in this world, that we're all trying to figure it out. And so as I begin to let go of the misperception that somebody is wrong and somebody is right and that I'm going for victory here, what I want to go is for the healing of humanity that is here. And when there is a healing going on in humanity, it is a result of people letting go of their allegiance, if you would, to the victory and aligning with not the opposition, but rather than with victory, but with love. With the sense that God is love, and that for some reason, if I'm not experiencing it in my life, it is a separation that is going on, but that separation is only there as a result of my limitations. I've got a divide, I've got a creek, I've got a river. Somehow I got to build that bridge from where I'm standing and what I'm thinking so I can merge once again with the totality of the expression of God. And God is not some superhuman up there who's dispensing these miracles, answering our prayers, if you would. You know, is not filled with emotions, not taking pity on us, not getting caught up in the drama. You know, it doesn't listen to our demands, does not take our orders. You know, it will not give me the justice that I think is right here. But what is available is the divine justice. What is available is for me to align with that totality that is always available, that I have separated myself with my beliefs and my misperceptions. And so as I allow myself to come in harmony, to come into that vibrational sequence, that all of a sudden there is a new frequency, as I was saying, that is emerging almost within the shell or under the skin of what was. It is coming forth, it is materializing in my world that represents the clear avenue for God to have its way, because love is the answer. You know, love is the way here. Yes. And it's in our hands to be able to do this. We've got to be willing to let go of our partisan side of that creek or that river and realize I'm the one who's got to build a bridge. I'm the one who's got to cross that divide, because there is no separation if I don't want it in my life. You know, I have got to recognize that we are all part of the totality of God. And so you are me and I am you. And I don't want to be upset with what's going on out there. I want to understand, and I want to have that compassion. And just because I see that the spiritual genius in somebody doesn't mean they get their way or anything. You know, we are able to stand in our conversations. You know, we are able to stand in our way. For that presence of God is moving through all of us. It is not one individual who gets it. And that's why Seaside is about sending all of us into the world as spiritual leaders. It is all of us taking the idea of love and caring, that if there is a problem, there is only one cause, and that is a sense of separation from the source. When I heal that sense of separation, I will take whatever knocks or bumps or attempts to make things a certain way and surrender it to the greater vibrational sense of the harmony of God having its way in my field of perception. And I begin to perceive as God sees. I speak as God speaks. I begin to stand with a truth that I have been called to deliver to the equation, to the conversation, because it takes all the different perspectives to cover the full space of the God expression. So since there is really No space between you and God. Yeah. As I said, you've got this one sanctuary and a lot of different experience, but love is always available. You've got God, in which we live and move and have our being, and all our experiences is within the one. So whatever happens in our life, whatever the trauma, difficulty, whatever it is, we are always at a level of choice to integrate it into the mosaic of our life, to be able to dissolve that sense of separation and begin to perceive as God sees how it can play in to the greater expression. You know, as I said, Christopher Reeves talks about hope. We talk about a knowingness. But when there is that sense, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. And Ernest made it so simple for us when he said there's only one cause to any of the limitation, the disease, the confusion. You can list whatever they are, and I can give you the reasons why it's going on in my life. But religious science is so simple. Heal the sense of separation. And what will take place will fill your heart with gratitude. And as we all know, increase comes from that seed of gratitude. And the more you look for gratitude in your life, the more gratitude you're going to see. And it will unfold with a joy, with a manifesting energy. And what will happen is God's grace will replace the karmic law of cause and effect in your world and continue to give you reason to be grateful beyond what that small mind that wanted to keep things in its known world. That shell will shatter, and there will be the emergence right where you are in your life through you, this new vibration and frequency in which you have aligned with will begin showing up in your world in ways that exceed your heart's desire. God bless us as we live that. Hey, let's keep that going as we bring Rosie Dawn back to our stage.
My time of travel
Rosie Dunn. We're never alone. That's right. There is no separation there. And Spirit moves in and through all things for sure. And right here, right now, it's moving through us in ways that bless and grace our life and those that are around us. And this is the time of our service where we pause and take the time to share our gift, to share our love, and know that as you give, it comes back. But it's not why you give, but it's rather an extension of your consciousness. It's the activity that Spirit is having. It is the love that you are sharing. It is remembering Spirit is where the wealth and the good and the support and the health, it all comes from. And it is as you put Spirit first, what you'll find out is in your life, Spirit shows up first. This is where your mind goes. This is where your thinking goes, is what would God do here? Because you know what? I keep putting God first everywhere and live with a sense of gratitude and appreciation. And so, this is our time of our service where we pause and say, hey, you got some gifts that you feel like saying, thank you, God. And it's as you give, you just put yourself in that gratitude stream. So, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time. And I want to say thank you to this wonderful group that are here for us week after week, front door, greeting us, helping us get seated, sharing in their love. And thank you to those who mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated, as well as those who participate in the auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world into the support the community here and now. So thank you. And to those of you at home, thank you for the contributions that you mail in, the notes that come in with it. You hit the button on your screen that says whatever it says, whether it's Venmo or donate now. I know you're doing it. You're finding it because it's coming in. It's how we are able to continue through a time of concern. So I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this truly is a blessed moment where we become that vortex, that avenue of the divine emanation, that God expression for the love and the grace of God has its way as our very life here and now. And so with a sense of joy, we send forth that which has blessed our life. And what I know that in this sharing of this greater good, we find our lives enriched and blessed and all those areas that could use a greater expression of connected with the divine. It's taking place. We find a greater ease, a sense of security, a peace, a well-being, of a greater harmonization with the source of all things. So with joy we share how we've been blessed. And we know that this blessing blesses all those who come in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be part of the wonderful, infinite, inexhaustible flow of the divine. And so it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Those are our guys from Seaside. We appreciate you. We love you. Nice job. Speaking of nice job, Rosie, Dawn, thank you for the powerful voice that you brought us this morning. And the great message go with it. That's good. And Rebecca, always a joy to share Sunday mornings with you. Just have fun in that big new venue here in San Diego. I look forward to hearing about it. So that'll be good. Reverend Debbie, joy to share Sunday mornings with you, to be co-creative in our expression, and not only on Sundays, but all week long. So that'll be good. And you're doing a class starting Monday. That's right, 6 weeks. Online? That's right. And it's the soul's journey. Should be absolutely fabulous for sure. So, Debbie's class, don't hesitate, go online, click on, be part of it. And thank you today in the booth, Matthew, for giving us sound. We appreciate you. Putting up those PowerPoint slides right there is Marv. Thank you. And the guys behind the camera today are Tim, and then we got Edwin over there. And doing the editing and mixing in our behind the wall there, can never see them, is Steve Grant. So I appreciate that for sure. And whoever else may be in there. So also want to give you a heads up, and if you want to be part of the foundation class that I'm teaching on Tuesday nights. It has just begun, and it's still available to start this Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. Got this great workbook. It's in person, so it's on our campus. A very small class, safely spaced out in the family room with a desk and everything. So it's a good entry place into the basic principles of making them work in our life and our world. But I tell you what the key is the demonstration. I mean, it's the consciousness, but we take the proof for the pudding and the tasting. We take the proof from our demonstrations. All these words are great about no separation, but you know what? Until we're able to manifest and demonstrate, at that level of, aligning with Spirit for our choice, they're just words. So I'm going to pray right now. I want you to be aware that, we've got practitioners at home that are praying. We have got practitioners online. So as soon as we're done at the service, you can go to our website, have a private chat room with an individual practitioner for prayer. You can put prayer requests in our prayer center. Valerie is happy to pray with you afterwards. You can mail in prayers. Healing is the thrust of this movement. And there's only one thing we need to work on healing, and that is our sense of separation from the divine. And, the entry point is love, as Rosie was singing this morning. So I invite you to join me in that love space, in that heart space, where I come to just feel and sense that infinite intelligence, the divine order, that first cause, that first breath, that all-initiating divine pulse, the co-creator, that inexhaustible light of light. It is the very essence of all beings. And I know right now this is what I live and move and have my awareness in, is this divine field of infinite God expression. And it's not, as I said, some superhuman answering my request, but rather it is as I come into alignment, as I allow myself to harmonize, to tune into that divine frequency, that the new dimensions of possibility begin to present its possibilities in my field of awareness. As I begin to tune in to see the greater sense of wholeness and well-being, the healing happens not because I am saying do this, but rather I am becoming aware of the wholeness, the presence of God, that any otherness, any sense of separation dissolves into the nothingness from which it came, and what remains is the vibrant expression of the divine as our body, as our life, as our soul expression, walking this world. And with this comes the support, the wisdom, the friends, the feeling, the finances, the relationships, all that is necessary for each and every one of us to walk as a powerful co-creator with the infinite, dissolving any sense of separation, being a clear transparency for the divine to download its expression in our world. We are that ambassador, that Christ expression, that Christ light for all to see. We claim that spiritual call that we have been given to be. Healing happens. And it begins within. Inquire within. And it's in this I come to know with an assurance that I am coming from love. Not looking for victory, but I'm looking for wholeness, truth. Willing to stand in the precarious positions and places that life surprisingly may present. And realize that any of the knocks and bruises along the way are just part of the divine tapestry of life. So grateful to know every prayer request has been brought forth to our community is now being fulfilled. The requestee has opened the door to the infinite, and healing is taking place. Lori Gertz, who reached out, whose husband stepped on to the other side on Friday. That Craig moves on with the currents of eternality, finding a peace and understanding and a love and a strength. But for Lori and her kids, Talia and Jonah, that they are surrounded by the love of the divine. Finding a peace that passes understanding, finding an inner strength and moving through confusion and questioning time and finding something that passes any logic, that brings a resolve of wholeness. The sense of separation dissolves, and the totality of the love of God transforms, answers that new vibrancy, the frequency of love. And so together, this community continues to do real work. We continue to love without judgment one another, continues to be a place of kindness and caring, honoring all paths. And Seaside continues to grow, it continues to expand. People find their way back home. They find the love is stronger than the fear. And this community begins to expand once again. And we add a light. Whether we are here together or whether we are here virtually, we are together in consciousness, for there is no separation. And this is a light that this community contributes to our nation and to our planet. That peace prevails, that love prevails, that love is the answer, that caring resolves the vision, builds the bridge. So thankful to see Spirit working its wonders, filling the hearts with understanding. I'm able to let go. It's not mine to make happen or to do, but rather it's thy will that's being expressed in this moment, as the vision that's been called forth, is God speaking within all of our hearts and souls. And we hear that which is near and dear to our spirit. And there is that resonance that moves us ever closer to merging, surrendering, dissolving, and disappearing into the expression of God's love. So I let go with an unshakable knowingness that all is well. For all is God, is omnipresent. Live and move, have being in that now. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open.
affirmation for the week is, I see the unfoldment of my life clearly. Together, I see the unfoldment of my life clearly. Touch your heart and let's say that again together. I see the unfoldment of my life clearly. One more time, like it is your truth, pure perception. I see the unfoldment of my life clearly. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Continue to see as God sees. Next week, bring back at least a couple friends with you. Let's get this place filled up again. We can do it. I love you. Be well.